So within the Dunn and Dunn learning style, Rita Dunn and her husband Kenneth Dunn identified physiological elements. So physiological elements are going to concern how the student physically engages with their learning environment. What are their perceptual preferences? Those refer to those 5 senses. Do they prefer visual or audio? Are they hands-on? What time of day are they most effective learners? And do they need to be moving to learn? Are they a hands-on learner? Or maybe they're simply a passive learner who prefers to observe. Perceptual is how students take the information in through their 5 senses. Does the student prefer to learn visually, read, or through audio means? Do they need a more tactile approach? Or maybe the learner requires a combination of these approaches. However, each of these senses contributes to the amount of knowledge that's going to be retained, and choosing the optimal venue is going to increase the retention of the information. Think of the VARK learning methodology. This is an easy way to reach these varying learning senses. The best option for approaching the perceptual domain is to teach them a means that is going to combine visual, auditory, reading, writing, and any kinesthetic modalities. That way you are giving the information, the same information, through the different perceptual means. Intake. So next comes intake under the Dunn and Dunn physiological element. So intake aligns with the lowest rung of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the physiological needs, or simply put, food. In the most basic of understanding for intake, the student needs to be well nourished. A student that is hungry is going to be more focused on hunger than on the new information and learning. Interestingly, for Dunn and Dunn, intake is not just for nutritional value, but ponder a moment for the student who is constantly grazing on snacks while studying, while others never snack. Maybe a student needs a cup of water nearby or needs to chew on a piece of gum. So not only does food replace expended energy, but it also aids in relaxing those tensions and anxiety that are going to occur for some students while concentrating or while encountering new information. Time. So when we think about time of day, I want you to think about when you study and learn the best. Some individuals are night owls, and they may be up all night and thrilled to study, while others prefer early morning. There are also times when concentration dips low. So what times of the day are you more effective at learning and less effective at learning? In teaching, the most effective way to reach all students during the most optimal learning times is to use an asynchronized approach, which is most accessible during these times of abundant technology options. Mobility. Mobility is the need for movement while learning. Some students are going to be perfectly still, while others are constantly bouncing and moving. This is an easy part of the learning personality to identify, and it's simply a matter of observation. Does the student seem to be constantly moving? Are they still? Do they fidget? Do they seem to be constantly touching and moving items around? The answers to these questions are going to aid in determining the mobility needs of the student. Sadly for students, though, this is also an area where they tend to have the least amount of control, as we want to be able to have them sit still while they learn. An interesting correlation between mobility and learning exists. The more mobile the student is, or the more mobility they require, the more informal the setting they're going to need, and vice versa. When looking at all of these needs within the Dunn and Dunn learning styles, it's important to then identify what the learner needs and how you can best meet those needs as an instructor and educator.